Hey guys, how's it going? Irish Fino here. We're back at it again with the graveyard keeping game. I'm gonna keep this one short, word wise. This is something that when I was doing the recording, my commentary wasn't recorded while I was playing, so that kind of sucks. So I'm kind of going back through and talking just a little bit about the game. But I've decided to just kind of go ahead and just kind of sum up my experience for Graveyard Keeper so far. And then just mix in some fun music so you guys can watch the gameplay, kind of see what I'm talking about. Graveyard Keeper. There are some aspects of this game that I do find enjoyable. I have played tons and tons of games where there's a grinding aspect to it, as kind of expected, to pad out some of the gameplay for stories so you play longer, and that's fine. But Graveyard Keeper kind of takes it to a whole new level of the grind, and it gets to the point where it's just not fun anymore. You're not really progressing the story. There's some basic quality of life features that are missing, like a quest book. Like a basic just like quest book that'll show you all the quests that you have. Instead, you have to go to the known NPCs tab and then go to that individual NPC and see what quests that they have for you. But other than that, you get no other information. Like there's no hints on how to get the items that they're requesting that appear in that section of the game. You would have either had to write down what these guys were saying exactly, how to get the stuff, or go outside the game and go to the wiki to find out the information if you're not able to divine it in game. So it kind of takes away some of the immersion factor in the game. It really takes you out of the game just really fast. It's kind of an unfortunate thing, and it's really a basic quality of life thing when it comes to games where you have quests, especially fetch quests, and how to attain some of the items. There's a lot of items where you need to have several different upgraded tiers in your technology of just being able to access the blueprints, and then you need to take those blueprints and make the items from the blueprints in order to make the items for the quest. Turn in those items for the quest and then get another quest where you need to go and make a new technology or unlock a new technology in order to make the things for the quest. And it's just this repetitive pattern of grinding. I mean, it's just, here's this thing, you need to build these two other things to make this thing, but first you need the materials to make the thing, to make the thing, to make the other thing, so you can hand it in for your quest. And it's just kind of like monotonous, busy work at a certain point in the game. There's, like I said, there's no hints for obtaining items for your quests. So you kind of do a lot of just wandering around and kind of guesswork if you're trying to play the game blind and not go straight to a wiki for all the information so you can get through the game. There's a couple of things that got carried over from the alpha bug-wise. The developer is patching as quickly as possible, so that's a bonus. It's also unfortunate because such frequent rapid-fire patches can break other aspects of the game, so they're kind of running into that problem now where they're trying to do these hot fixes for things and it's breaking other aspects of the game, unfortunately, for some people. So lots of patching going on. The game itself, really pretty, great soundtrack. I mean, there's some elements in the game that are absolutely fantastic. The story is really interesting. It's just difficult to get the story to progress unless you do hours and hours and hours of grinding. And I have about 20 hours in this game now total. And I might maybe be halfway finished with it, and not in a good way. Like, it's not like, Skyrim, 20 hours of gameplay to do the main quest line. This is like 20 hours of grinding to get an extra 2 minutes of story each time that you progress in the grind tree. So, 2 hours of grinding, you get 2 minutes. So I've done 20 hours of grinding, so I've gotten like 10 minutes of story, like mainline story. There's some other story that you get with the Inquisition, which is probably considered part of the main story. I don't know. I'm thinking this story is fairly linear. There's no branching out to other stuff. There's some stuff in the game, like they talk about the town a lot and the Ship of the Dead. So I've spoiled myself on these things, but they were really something that I was looking forward to. That would be like a potential to extend the end game. It doesn't look like that's going to be something I'm going to be able to achieve in this playthrough. I won't spoil it any further, but I am a little bit disappointed about that. But, I mean, the game has fun aspects. It's really pretty. The soundtrack is great. The developers are going through and they're patching a lot of stuff with these rapid fire patches. So they are paying attention, which is good. I do feel like that they should have just kept this like in early access on Steam. I understand why they went through their own website. It is a way to maximize their profits because Steam does take a cut. But I really do feel like this game is itself still like an early access game, but it's put out as a full release. And I really do think it would have benefited from an early access period on Steam. Overall, as the game sits right now, I cannot, in good faith, recommend anyone buy this game as it stands right now. The time of my voice recording is August the 28th, 2018. This may change. I am hoping that it does change. I want this game to be awesome. I want this game to be one of those games that's talked about, a lot, that people like and, they want to play it. And, oh yeah, Graveyard Keeper. I've heard so much about that game. I will say that the game is nothing like Stardew Valley. The comparisons to Stardew Valley need to stop because it sets a certain level of expectations on the game that it's, in its current state, not going to be able to reach. Stardew Valley was a one-man product that was worked on for 4 years. It was an complete homage to Harvest Moon series. I believe it was one of the SNES games that came out, one of the versions of Harvest Moon for SNES. So it was a labor of love by one dude who was super dedicated to getting everything as wonderful as possible, all on his own. And Graveyard Keeper does not have the depth that Stardew Valley has. There's no, the Graveyard Keeper, the keeper wants to get back home. He wants to get back home to his wife. Stardew Valley, you are home. You're rebuilding the farm. It's Harvest Moon with some added bonuses. You go through the town, you romance people. Their gender doesn't matter. You can adopt. All that good stuff. So there's just some stuff in Stardew Valley that was more than likely never going to be in Graveyard Keeper, and so the comparisons of Graveyard Keeper to Stardew Valley is really like an unfair comparison, especially for the developers. That's a lot of pressure to put on an indie team to say, to all these reviews being like, oh yeah, Graveyard Keeper is the next Stardew Valley with the, a twist. It's Dark Stardew Valley, and it's nothing like that. And I don't think it was very fair for the comparisons to be made because the game was not trying to be a Dark Stardew Valley. It just because it has farming elements in it, and you can go into some dungeons and there's some mining And fishing, that was obviously, it looks just like Stardew Valley. It doesn't mean that it's supposed to be like Stardew Valley in any way, shape, or form. So I do find that the comparisons for Stardew Valley built up an unnecessary amount of hype for the game and put a lot of pressure on the developers. And so there is probably a segment of disappointment from other people that, it's not a grim Stardew Valley like all these other reviewers are saying that it was before the game came out. Overall, the game itself, obviously, there was a lot of time and attention and love put into this game. It's just missing some key features that could put it over the edge and make it go from what I feel is a grind fest more suitable to mobile gaming, where they try to charge you 99 cents every 5 minutes, than a full release PC Xbox game. I want to see it go from that mobile game feel to a full blown, I would totally buy this again on the Switch just to be able to have a portable version of it. Because I do personally do that. I will buy, if I like a game enough, I will buy it on multiple platforms. And I have Skyrim. I have it on the PC. I have it on the 360. I have it on the Xbox One. And I bought it when it came out on the Switch. Okay? So I have absolutely no problems whatsoever in paying a developer multiple times for the same game, so they know that I appreciate the game so much that, I'm going to keep buying it on these different platforms, because it really is just that fun to me. I want Grindyard Keeper to be able to do something like that. Like for me with Stardew Valley, it came out on the computer and I bought it on the PC and I loved it on the PC. But I really, really, really felt like the game, especially with its graphics, was something that could definitely be on like a portable system like the 3DS. And it came out on the Xbox, it came out on the PlayStation. I have an Xbox One. I did not buy it on the Xbox One because what I really, 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 really wanted was a portable version of the game. Plus, I put in like 400 some odd hours on the computer. So it was basically going to be the same thing from PC to Xbox. There's no added bonuses for it. And then they announced it was coming out on the Switch, and I bought it. And I have no regrets whatsoever buying that game on the Switch, because it is it's fun to be able to play it. Say like, waiting to pick my son up for school, I can pull out my Switch and play some Stardew Valley. Just that portability aspect definitely puts it up in like my top 10 games of all time that I love. And I want Grindyard Keeper to be able to get to the point where I'm like, heck yeah, I'll totally buy that game when it comes out on the Switch. I love all of this stuff that they've added to the game. The patches have fixed all the problems that I had with the game. They've added quality of life improvements. They've beefed up the game to the point where I buy it again. And that's kind of what I want for Grindyard Keeper. And I know I keep saying that, but I just want to make it clear that I do enjoy certain aspects of the game. It's a beautiful game. The soundtrack is very good. Unfortunately, you won't be hearing it in this recording because the audio did not record on this. So I'm going to put in just some kind of atmospheric music that I got off of YouTube with their free music that they offer for video creators. So you're going to be hearing that in a little bit. But Grindyard Keeper, it has great potential, and that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to me playing Grindyard Keeper in the long term. I do want to finish out the story myself, even though I have spoiled myself on certain aspects. I do find that spoiling myself on stuff actually lowers my expectations because I know what to expect. And I do actually kind of go out of my way to spoil myself on some stuff just so I know what's going to be happening, because sometimes a surprise in the game is not all that great, especially like if you're like me and you forget to do something and you go get to the end game and it's like, oh, well, you forgot to do this one thing, so you can't finish. And then you just never play that game again because your feelings are hurt because the game's a bastard. Anyway, Graveyard Keeper has great potential. At this time, as of August the 28th, I cannot recommend that anyone go out of their way to purchase the game. If you get yourself a hell of a deal or someone gives it to you for free, go ahead and try it and see what you think of it. By the time some changes are made to the game, this could be outdated. And I think, honestly and truly, I believe that would be fantastic if, a month from now, someone comes and watches this video and they're like, oh, well, they've already patched this for Graveyard Keeper. That would be freaking great. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want for this game. I think it could do a lot better at what it's trying to do. And tempered expectations if you do go ahead and buy the game. Just temper those expectations. In fact, turn those expectations off. Just don't expect anything in the game except for you're going to be burying bodies and you're going to be grinding. There's going to be a lot of grinding in the game. How you have fun with the game is up to you. Definitely. I can only speak for myself when I talk about how I feel about the game. But definitely, if you do go ahead and buy the game, keep your expectations tempered. Because there may be something in the game that you consider game breaking that I don't consider game breaking. Because I do actually enjoy, personally, hoarding stuff in games. So there are times when the grind isn't that bad for me to, go out and, drag 50 logs back to my house. Having a cart would be nice, but it's, again, quality of life stuff. But, everyone's going to have their different opinion on the game. They're going to feel that certain aspects of the game that I talk about that I don't like, they like, and et cetera, et cetera. And that's cool. Everyone's got their own opinions. Just, you buy the game, temper those expectations, enjoy it in any way you see fit, as long as, you're not having to murder people while you play the game. But Graveyard Keeper, overall, good potential, really pretty, great background music, great soundtrack. Devs seem pretty responsive so far. They're patching the game as quickly as they can. Mistakes are being made. That's just kind of how it goes in any creative endeavor. So that is all that I've got to say for this video. So go ahead and enjoy the rest of what is going on. If you see any long pauses in the playthrough when I was recording this or trying to record, my audio didn't get recorded, so I'm more than likely talking about something. It just didn't get recorded and I don't remember what I was talking about, unfortunately. So hopefully the music that I choose will be able to soothe as you watch me go through the rest of the playthrough for this video. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. You're awesome.
One.